Hi everyone, my name is Dena and I'm back today with another video for Potomac Beads. Today I'm going to teach you how to use one of the table cut buttons in a different way that you may not have even thought about doing yet. So click on the link below to get your list of supplies, gather them up, meet me back, and we will get started. Alright, now that you have all your supplies set and ready to go, I have just about an arm span length of thread on my needle. I went ahead and put a stop bead down at the bottom of it, and that's leaving a little bit at the end, just enough so I can hold on to it. At the end of the project, we'll go and tie it off. So first steps that you want to start out with are your cut button and your 15-0s. So we're first going to take our cut button, go from the back side to the front side through one of the holes, doesn't matter which one at the moment. And now you're set. So biggest thing that we're going to do is we're going to add 15-0s that are going to wrap around this cut button. That way we can add more beads around the edge of it. So you see how each of the cut button has 8 ridges. We've got just about 4 on one side of the holes and the 4 on the other side of the holes. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to use those 15-0s and wrap around those ridges right there. Or at least use those as a guide. They don't have to be exact. In the next step, when we start adding the extra beads and everything, it'll make it a little bit easier and it'll even itself out. So what we want to do is add 13 15-0s to our needle. That's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Alrighty, so our thread is coming out the front of the cut button. I'm going to pick one of these ridges. I'm going to say this ridge right here. I'm going to go to the back of the cut button and come through that same hole that the thread is coming out of currently. And I'm going to wrap it around. And then when you do that, and you get everything situated, the beads now sit pretty much in that little ridge right there. So I'm going to do it again. So 13 15s. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, and I've got one that won't fit. Of course, because I'm doing a video, I've got some that are not going to fit. Okay, just need to add one more. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that next ridge that's closest to this hole of the cut button, and I'm going to go from the back to the front again. And try not to go through your stop bead. And you saw how that kind of wobbled around a little bit. There again, we'll fix it on the next step. So what you should be doing on this part is add 2 more rows of your 13 through this same hole, and then I will meet you back so we can jump down to the second hole. Okay, so now when you're finished with that step, your cut button should look something similar to this, where you have the 4 rounds of your 15-0s sitting somewhat close to the ridges. There's my cat again. So in order to jump from the first hole of the cut button down to the second hole, we're going to pick up a crystal and we're going to do just that. Your thread is coming out of the one hole and then you're going to go down the second hole of the cut button. Alright, just kind of maneuver your crystal around a little bit so it sits good with the cut button. And then you're off to adding your other rows of your 15-0s, so add 13 more 15s. Well, if I can get it on the needle, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. Now the only difference with this one is that now your thread is starting off in the back of the cut button. So all you have to do is just wrap it around to the front. And go back through your cut button, you pull tight, and then situate as best you can your 13 15-0s in one of those ridges. So continue on with the last 3 rows of this side of the cut button and meet me back and we'll go to the next step. Alright, so now that you have your 8 rows of your 15 O's added to your cut button now we're going to start adding some IrisDuos. So to do that, our thread and needle is still coming out the back of the cut button. So what you would like to do is jump over to that first row of this last step. It was the first 13 beads that we added after we added the crystal. What you want to do is you want to go up the first 7 of those beads. So you want to get to that middle bead. So that was 4, and then there's 7, and then come on out. The reason why I jump over to that first one, just tension. It makes it a little bit nicer, a little bit easier to use. Alright, so now we're coming out of that 7th bead on that first row. So now we're going to take an 8-O, an IrisDuo with the puffy side up, and with the puffy side up we're going from the right to the left of the IrisDuo in the bottom hole. So it'll be like that. And then pick up a second 8-O. Drop that down to the work. Now this is where your beads will start going closer to those ridges again. So you want to go through the 7th bead again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then just go through that bead. Doesn't matter if you go from the back of the bead to the front of the bead, it really doesn't matter. And then it should look like that. So now we add an 8, another IrisDuo, going through that bottom hole again with the puffy side on the top, from the right to the left, another 8, and then you jump through the next, get my tail thread out of the way, that's kind of weird, the next 7th bead on the next round of 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you pull tight and it should look like that. So now continue on adding your 8-O's and your IrisDuos. I will meet you back at the beginning where we added our first one. Alright, so when you're finished with that step, your earring or ornament, whatever you want to make it, is going to look something similar to this with all your IrisDuos on it and your 8-O's. So our thread is currently coming out of that 15-O that we started adding our that 7th 15-O out of that first one. So what we want to do is we want to go through the 8-O and that same hole of the IrisDuo and then come out. So you want to come out of that IrisDuo. Now we're going to be adding some crystals again. So we're going to pick up a 15, a crystal, and a 15. And we're going to zigzag around our IrisDuos. So we're coming out of the bottom hole of this IrisDuo. We're going to jump to the next IrisDuo in line and go through the top hole. And then pull tight. And there's your first crystal added. And a 15, crystal 15. Coming out of the top hole of this IrisDuo, jump to the bottom hole of the next IrisDuo and add your 15, crystal 15 that way. So now we're zigzagging through our IrisDuos. So go ahead and do that. Meet me back here at this first IrisDuo and we will go to the next step. Alright, so when you're done with that step, your ornament slash earring slash pendant, whatever you choose to do with it, should look something similar to this. So my thread is actually coming out of that first 15 after that first IrisDuo that we added in the last step, which is fine because we want to go ahead and pass through the crystal, the next 15, the next IrisDuo, and that next 15 before the second crystal. So we can start adding some more decoration. So now I'm coming out of that first 15 in that second crystal combination that was added in the previous step. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 15s, 3 11s, and 1 15. She's so mad I'm not paying attention to her right now. Yeah, please don't. She's trying to rub my hand. Okay. Or my arm. Alrighty, so you have 2 15s, 3 11s, and 1 15, and she just bit me. Alright, so we're going to go from this bottom, or from over here off to this, I can't even figure out what I'm saying now, through this 15-0 right here, we're going to jump up to that next IrisDuo, the top hole up there. Oh my goodness. Now she's pawing me. And she's hitting my light. Okay, so now that we're sitting here, we're going to round out and make this IrisDuo a little bit more pronounced. To do that, we're going to add, I'm going to cheat real quick, I am adding 2 15s, an 8-0, and 2 15s. Oh, my cat. Getting jealous. Alrighty, so we have 2 15s, an 8-0, and 2 15s. We're coming out of the left-hand hole of this top IrisDuo. We're going to round her out, go through the right side, and go in the same direction as what the thread is going in right now. If I can find the hole. When you pull tight. Oh my, I knew this was going to happen eventually. Alrighty, when you pull tight, you should have a more pronounced peak on the end of your IrisDuo. So now that we're coming out of this hole, we need to jump to the next IrisDuo. To do that, we're going to do the opposite of what we did on this side. So it's 1 15, 3 11s, and 2 15s. Now we're coming out of this IrisDuo hole. We're going to jump over and go into that last 15 plus the IrisDuo and come out before the next 15. I think you can see that. When you pull tight, and everything should be sitting like this. Now we're going to add our little peak around the IrisDuo again. So 2 15s, an 8-0, and 2 15s. Your thread's coming out of the left-hand hole of the IrisDuo. We're going to go through that same hole, but on the right side, going in the same direction. Go ahead and catch on to your 15 if you can right there. And then pull tight. And then you have your next decoration. So that is the combination of what you need to do. So again, we're starting off here. So it is this part over here that we started, the first half, where it's the 2 15s, 3 11s, 1 15. Go through the IrisDuo, add your peak around the IrisDuo, go back through again, and then it's the 1 15, 3 11s, and the 2 15s. So continue around and I'll meet you back at the very beginning again. Okay, so when you're done with that step, your component should look something similar to this. And we're pretty much almost done. The only thing I'm going to do in this round is just go back through the outer edge of everything just to kind of tighten it up just a little bit more. So to do that, I am currently coming out of the IrisDuo again. I'm going to go ahead and go through the first 3 15s that are sitting there. That first 15 was part of that 15 crystal 15 from a couple of steps ago. Go ahead and go through the 3 11-0s as well. I am going to skip that last 15. So I'm just going through the 3 11-0s. I'm going to now jump up to the 2 15s, the 8, and the 2 15s up here at the peak of the IrisDuo. I tried it both ways, where I did it this way, and then I also tried it to where I went through all the 15s. To me, it just seemed like it sat a little bit better. It looked a little bit more cleaner, a little bit nicer. You don't have to do that. You can go through all your beads if you want to. Just really depends on your tension. Okay, so I'm through the 8-0, then go through the 2 15s on this side. I'm going to skip that last 15 again. And then I'm going to go through the 3 11s, and then 2 of the last 15s on this side, and then go to the next peak. So just continue on doing that until you've gone all the way around your pendant slash ornament slash earrings and meet me back and I will show you the last step where we add the ear wire and we will be done. Okay, so now that you have reinforced the outer edge of your component, we're now going to, I'm going to show you how to tie off the thread first. I forgot to do that. All I did was just follow my thread path through the beads. I went through a couple of rows of the outer edge again and ended up to where I can jump down through one of the crystals, get down to the lower edge down here, the lower holes of the IrisDuos, followed that around until I got to one of the original threads from that first step, close to where the stop bead's at. So that's where my thread's coming out of currently, is that 8/0 right here. So I'm just going to go back down these last 6 beads here and get my thread to where my stop bead is at. Move my stop bead out of the way so I can tie it together. And you're going to see a little bit of thread on the back of this. It's really not going to be noticeable, especially if you use a color that is close to the color of the cut button or of your beads. I tend to use white just because that's what I tend to use. I don't know. I like it better than the other colors. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is just burn down the edge. Burn it down close to the project, which I'll make that look prettier here in a minute when I can actually get closer to it and see it. Now we're going to add our jump ring and our ear wire. Now I want mine to look more like a star or something similar to that. So I'm going to put my ear wire through one of the peak 8/0s. So there is my jump ring. I said ear wire just a second ago. I meant the jump ring, because my ear wire, the way that it's oriented, I need to have something going in this direction so I can get it on better. So now I add the ear wire. I think it's in this direction. Did I guess correctly? I did not. That's the wrong way. Okay. Close up the ear wire. And now you have a pair of earrings using cut buttons. So those are my earrings, and then this is all I did to make the ornament. Same fashion, same directions and everything. Added a jump ring up there at the top, and then I just added one of the little ornament hooks that we use here in the States to add our ornaments to the tree. So there's your other option. The other option would be make it a pendant. Put a chain on it, and there you go, you're done. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching my Bright as a Button tutorial. Now remember, you can make it into a set of earrings, you can make it into a pendant, or you can make it into an ornament to put on your Christmas tree this year. So don't forget to like and subscribe so that way you'll know when new videos and new products come out from Potomac Beads. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.